My name is Emily Brookfield, and I'm studying English, Education, and Classics at Washington and Lee University. And today I'm going to be talking to you about my Shepherd Summer internship. I have been working with the Corella and Bertram F. Bonner Foundation, also known as Just Bonner. They're a scholarship foundation that works to give students across the country access to education and the opportunity to serve. More specifically, I've been working with them on their Policy Options Wiki, an online database where people can see concise yet informative briefs on an array of issues, spanning from police reform to school choice to art and economic development. Although this was all completed digitally as we're in the age of COVID-19, there was still an assortment of lessons to learn along the way, things that could be applied in person but were enhanced by our digital setting. One of these lessons came to light during my first meeting with my site advisor, or boss, Bobby. We were having a one-on-one meeting to discuss the expectations of my service in the time of COVID. My internship was not meant to be in person in the first place, so the digital format was less difficult to adjust to. Yet even with our digital environment, topics like how COVID has changed lives and how to best keep people safe were apparent in our discussion. The circumstances of the summer, along with the general anxiety of having a meeting with a boss, definitely kept me on my toes as we were talking. Communication with the people you work with is, as a whole, difficult. It's difficult in person, nonetheless, in a completely virtual environment to help your service site in being the best it can be. I've always had somewhat of a tough time in approaching issues that involve ways to better a community partner. A balance of affirming the respect one has with the others that they work with and communicating with them in order to improve the organization must be struck, and that doesn't always come naturally. Thus, when my advisor asked what he could be doing better or if there were any blatant errors in the style that he had approached the summer with, I was at a bit of a loss. Most organizations have ways that they could improve, and my service site wasn't an exception. Having longer Zoom calls would help us work through information that was being overlooked. More breakout sessions would allow for most of our group of 50 people to actually have a voice, and establishing a goal for the project would not only motivate people to complete their research, but also give the project a defined meaning. When there is a power dynamic alive in a work situation, it can be really difficult to express even the tiniest of suggestions, things that would make the work so much more efficient and better for all of us, but certainly small in the grand scheme of things. After assuring that he would be happy to hear comments and establishing a sense of trust, I told him these suggestions, and he executed them immediately. There was no awkwardness or discomfort, nor any accusation that I was just an intern who didn't know enough to have helpful comments. In that, we established a place where he could critique my work as well. Even within the hierarchy of my organization, me being an intern and my advisor being the president of the foundation, we were able to communicate fluidly, which ultimately made us both better. Rather than just working for him, we were working with him. Not only that, but it also improved the work environment for the roughly 50 interns we had. So good communication is important for respecting the dignity of those working around you and for working efficiently to help the populations your organization serves. And through this story in the summer, I have been able to see some incredible examples of service leadership. Yet, if we zoom out and look at the issue from a societal level, we can see improper communication enhancing social hierarchies practically everywhere, as they are often the root of injustices. These hierarchies frequently revolve around race, class, and societal position. For example, on a small scale, the intimidation I initially felt in speaking with my boss was a result in the differences in our status. Yet, rather than elevating himself and further separating us, he placed us on the same level. We focused on what we had in common, a shared passion to improve Bonner, and through that we were able to break down barriers that would have initially caused me to hesitate. No issue was too large or too small if it would better the experience or the program, and I was able to immediately have my concerns heard by someone who actually cared. In this, though, it's crucial to realize the difference between improper communication in the workplace versus large structures of injustice that prevent people from reaching success. Yet, it is important to see that improper communication in a service site setting can, on a level of principle, mirror the oppressive structures that they try and combat by disregarding basic dignity. And at some point, everyone is responsible to correct inefficient or incorrect communication. If I hadn't worked collaboratively with those around me in my situation, perhaps out of intimidation of those in power, it would have been a disservice to my boss as well as my coworkers. Although situations like these have the potential to be awkward, to fully move forward and encourage organizations to mirror the place that they want society to be, we must help them be even better than they already are by giving respectful feedback. So, next time someone asks for advice and you think you have some comments that would be helpful, I compel you to be honest.
Silence, even in the smallest of situations, allows these hierarchical problems to prevail.